What are requirements for the application for Italian citizenship by marriage? We are generally used to go online, go on Google and search for information, and you maybe think that the application can be a really pretty easy application because you simply have to have a couple of documents and then you can file. Well, there are many problems related to the application. This is 𝘔𝙤𝙪𝙩𝙏 from the 𝘔𝙤𝙪 Law Office from Italy and with expertise on Italian citizenship applications. So do not lose any more time and let's start. Today we will try by talking with about the requirements to cover also the potential pitfall and the problems with the application. So, with the process of Italian citizenship by descent, what are the requirements? Of course, as you can imagine, the first requirement, the most important requirement, is being married with an Italian. You need to provide the fact that you are married with an Italian citizen. And you can have the transfer of Italian citizenship rights by marriage only if you are married. First of all, we need to distinguish if your marriage took place before 1983 or after that year. Why? Because the law was changed that year. So before that year, an Italian male who married a non-Italian woman, an American woman, in that case, the American woman was automatically entitled to claim Italian citizenship by marriage without filing an application, because at that law, the transmission was automatic with the marriage itself. After the year, the government at that time, the parliament introduced a new legislation, and you need to file a formal application with many documents that you need, of course, to provide. It's also very important that the marriages must be in place, of course. If you got married with an Italian for 5 years and then you divorced, well, you cannot use, of course, the past marriage as a way to prove that you got the right of citizenship. It doesn't work like that. So you need to be married and stay married for the entire duration of the process. This is very, very important. So, of course, the marriage is very important, but for the process, how you can show your marriage? Well, you can say, myself and my husband married in the US, so, well, I have my marriage certificate. What's the problem? Well, your marriage certificate from the US is not enough. You need, first of all, to register your marriage in Italy. Your marriage must be registered. It's called trascrizione in Italian language. You need to register your marriage in Italy with Italian tenure, where your husband is also registered as an Italian living abroad. So it's very, very important. These steps are absolutely mandatory. We saw cases reject because people thought to be eligible just filing the marriage certificate from the New York State, for example. There are other documents, of course, that it's important to collect. What is important starting from your birth certificate, marriage certificate, criminal background check. It's very important that you show a criminal background check. It's very important also considering, especially if you live in different countries across your life. So if you live like 2 years in the US, then you move to Asia, then you move again to Australia, and then you go back to the US, well, you need to consider, starting from your 14th of age, from that time period, you need to consider that if you touch other countries, well, you need a criminal background check from all the other countries too, also if you now live in the US. This is, generally speaking, the most important documents. And finally, of course, maybe one of the most important, because it's maybe, in my opinion, the most challenging one, the B1 language test. For applying for Italian citizenship by marriage differently than Italian citizenship by descent at the current date, July 2024, you need, before filing the application, you need to take and pass a language test. You need to learn Italian, yes, and the minimum level of knowledge is B1 knowledge. So this is very important because one of the common questions that we receive are like, well, what if I file my application? I mean, the process can take years. So meanwhile, I can take my language test and I can pass and then provide the evidence during the pending application. No. You need to provide the fact that you passed the language test before filing the application. This is one of the mandatory requirements for the process of Italian citizenship by marriage. So this is very, very important. Of course, maybe you already talk Italian, maybe you talk a little bit, maybe you never talk Italian, so it can be more complicated, but this is absolutely mandatory. So pay attention that when you file your application, you need to have all documents on the table. You cannot just say, well, I will attack my documents later. No, your application will be denied 100% if you don't have all documents on the table in the moment you file the application, or we file for you the application. The process itself, then it can take like up to 2 years. Yes, it's a pretty long wait time. The consulate can, of course, ask you for additional questions. They can raise some questions, but potentially the application is not a problem if you did your homework well since the beginning. Of course, this is another reason why it's important to hire an immigration attorney with expertise on Italian citizenship application, because in this way you can increase, of course, your chance of success. Besides the fact that an attorney can assist you for all the 2 years duration. As always, if you have some questions, something you want to ask, you can always make a comment below. And most importantly, because we cannot do consultation here on YouTube or social medias, you need to write to us to the website. There's a contact form you can use, or better, you can book a consultation call so we can better talk with you about your case, your situation, the pitfalls or problems that can be raised in the future, the chance of success, everything related. We can answer to all the questions that you have only during a consultation, because this is very important. And it's very, very important to also make not just a like, of course, to the video. So make a like on the video, but to subscribe to the channel. This is very, very important, because besides the fact it's a way to help us to improve the channel, to improve the content for you, the video we are making for you, and the time we spend for sharing with you all the knowledge. But it's also helpful for you, because you will be notified immediately as soon as we post a video, a news, a post, because we also make some posts. Everything that we post, videos or whatever, is immediately on your phone, will be immediately on your phone. Thank you so much as always for your time, and see you on the next videos.